Welcome to Break Free to Brilliance podcast, where heart-centered entrepreneurs, visionaries, and the everyday heroes in your backyard are helping the world break free to live life more purposefully, one story at a time. I am Seema Giri, your host, an award-winning author, entrepreneur, and holistic lifestyle strategist. Today's show is sponsored by Uplift Media. For strategies on how to break free to your brilliance and get your free gift, 10 ways to live a dynamic life, visit seemagiri.com. Our special guest today is Trissa Tismal-Capili. She is a transformational executive coach, and today's topic is on abundance with ease and flow. Welcome, Trissa. Welcome to our podcast, Break Free to Brilliance.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited.
Me too. I can't wait to get started with the amazing interview. I'm so honored that you're here on our show today. Before we get started, let's do a quick grounding meditation and then dive right in. So let's take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just exhale any stresses, any thoughts that's still lingering around from your past meetings. Just exhale everything out. Taking another deep breath. And exhale any stresses, anything else that's left. Just exhale everything out. Be really present to right here, right now, in this moment. And I would like you to bring your attention to your heart now. And think of a happy moment for any time from any time period of your life and relive it as if you're living it for the first time. Enjoy the bliss and the peace and the enthusiasm and the love that you felt the very first time. Let's relive that moment again. Just open up our hearts even more. And I believe that we're all here together, not because it's a coincidence, but because we were intentionally meant to be here and really see what's in our hearts to hear from today's interview from Trissa. There might be something that you need to hear, or maybe hear for someone else. Sometimes it's not always just for us. It could be for someone else too that we can share the information with. And for Trissa and I, we should also look into our hearts and see what is really needed by our audience to hear from us today. And just breathe that in, inhale. Really bring that awareness to our hearts and our minds and be open to receiving. It may also be something totally unexpected, which is a beautiful thing. So with the next breath in and exhale, let's open our eyes with a great big smile. Trissa, when we did that meditation, what was called upon your heart?
Mm. There was just this resonant vibration of joy that just really vibrated and expanded in my heart. So thank you for that.
Thank you. No, that's so beautiful. That's amazing. Well, I want to introduce you, our special guest, to our audience. So today's special guest is Trissa Tismal-Capili. She teaches simple steps on how to optimize performance, boost productivity, and skyrocket profits without stress, overwhelm, and anxiety. She is dubbed as America's Transformational Success Coach. She's on a mission to help business leaders enjoy true success in all life areas: work, money, health, home, and relationship. And that encompasses, your entire life, which is such a beautiful thing. Teresa, thank you again for being here. And I understand that you have a new book coming out too.
Yes, I do. And I'm super excited about it. It's called Your True Power.
Wow. Can you tell us a little bit more about what inspired you to write that book?
Yeah, well, what inspired me first is to share my story because the book is actually 14 stories of rock bottom despair. And 14 different women, right? From different kinds. So you have different stories, some of being in prison and in drug addiction. Some are in, ended up in a psychiatric ward. Some have like divorce, like a heartbreak. So a lot of different. We have story on body, like just giving up, and each and every one of these women are now living a life amazing beyond their imaginations when they found their true power. So I'm one of those women, and I'm actually the compiler, the anthology leader.
Mm.
And I went into that rock bottom when I was in complete burnout, overwhelmed, when, I actually, my body collapsed. My whole skin, my face, if you looked at me, I looked like somebody got a knife and peeled all my skin off. Like it was so red and inflamed, and how it felt was like that raw skin. You actually, imagine putting lemons and vinegar and acid on that burning. That's how it felt, and it was so painful. And not only that, so my body was screaming. I was in my, I was in toxic relationships. My marriage was suffering. I was feeling like I was a new mom at that time. I felt like I was failing as a mom. And this was after years and years of me already being in the path of self growth.
Mm.
So I still reached this point after I followed my heart. I was already doing what I love. I already was reading, since I was 12, I started my first ever personal growth book, cover to cover. So I've been in the path of self growth, but I still found myself after following every success advice, going on masterminds, hiring coaches in this place of overwhelm and burnout. And so I transformed that when I was so at that point I felt like, oh my God, what else can I do? I've read every book. I'm not lacking in that department, right? I've been already a coach. That's what I love to do. I've been a coach. I'm helping multi-million dollar business owners, you know, better their lives. But here I am. I was like Robin Williams who were making everybody happy but suffering, right? And so I was like, oh my gosh, it felt like a dead end. What else can I do? I've done all mindset stuff, all strategies and tactics, right? Like changed my food, did all reframing about my relationships, changed the way I reacted, everything. And yet I was still suffering. And when I discovered what I call now your true power or my true power, everything transformed. That autoimmune disease that doctors said was incurable, as you can see now, it healed. My toxic relationships shifted from toxic, right, into the most supportive, loving relationships. And it is not because, yeah, I got my true power and I'm going to leave my husband. It wasn't like that. It's when I stepped into my true power, everything shifted. My husband, who was a self proclaimed monster, changed. And I am now helping powerful entrepreneurs all over the world, teaching them how to be in this space of ease and flow and being aligned with it as well. Not just though I'm coaching and teaching, but also living it. So I'm super excited to be sharing that story in the book in depth and allowing people from the book, because there's going to be 14 stories, right? 14 voices and 14 ways to explain what true power is.
Wow, Trissa, that is an incredible story. Such an incredible story, such a turnaround. I could really feel your pain when you were stating that. I've come from a similar background where, I was bedridden due to my chronic pain, chronic disease of autoimmune, and not, and doing everything possible and still not getting the solution, or even doctors not believing me. So that is so amazing. And after going, what was that missing piece that you finally found that you've been through I mean, you said you were already living on the self-growth path since you were 12. You did so many masterminds and so many coaches. So what was that one thing that everyone had missed?
So this is the juice, right? So I call it your true power. And what it is really a state of being. So from all the personal growth that I did early on, like I mentioned, it's strategies, tactics, habits, behavior change,
Mm,
right? And then, so that's one, which is still important because now how I teach it is I teach three pillars. So the first pillar is that, like, just, you still need the strategies and tactics. So I was doing that, right? Which is a lot of people are doing as well. And the second pillar is the mindset, which is reframing, um, reprogramming the subconscious, all of that. Many of us do that too, and feel we're still in this loop of personal growth and we're not getting there. Now, this third piece that I found, which is true power, which is the state of flow, is actually an energetic frequency.
mm,
So the first two pillars are coming from the mind. It's coming from willpower, it's coming from logic, it's coming from control, actually. But
right.
the third one is a state of being, is an energetic frequency, because everything is frequency, is energy, right? If I, for somebody that's hearing this for the first time, if I put a high powered microscope into my hand, or whether it's the table or my cell phone, whatever it is, we go down, we'll see cells and molecules and atoms, subatomic particles, and after that, we'll all see space.
Mhm,
Whether it's my hand, whether it's the tissue box, whatever it is, we all see space, and that space, that energy, has a corresponding frequency. And so, what is the frequency that you are coming from as you are executing the strategies, as you are executing those mindset techniques? If you are still coming from a frequency that's low vibration, or it doesn't really match what you are wanting to create, then it's not going to work for you.
mm.
So, that's really what it is in a nutshell. Is that making sense?
Yes, yes, it is. And I think as you are on a personal development path, on the growth path, you cannot go to the next level unless you come to the energy, frequency, vibrational, um, what is that word I'm looking for?
Alignment.
Understanding,
Yeah.
understanding, that I was led through the same path. I became a Reiki master, then I became a pranic healer, and it was with the integration of all of this that took me to the next level, that helped me understand, which is also a very nice thing because there's only so much you can talk, there's only so much you can do. So when you understand the laws of energy, you can do a lot of healing with that without having to go through a lot of, talking to a therapist. Because I got to a point where I don't want to talk anymore. And if you understand law of attraction, the more you talk about the same thing over and over again, that's what keeps coming back. And you, at one point, you just get tired. So this is really amazing tool that I think those who continue on the path eventually stumble upon and come upon. Those are one of the strategies that use in my own coaching practice too. Wow, and that
That's
made such an
amazing.
amazing difference. I know how it works, but every time I hear it from someone, it just gives me goosebumps. It's like, yeah, right?
Exactly, exactly. And I love hearing that you're doing the same thing as well. It's because, it really takes a tribe for all of us to be sharing this
Yes,
in our own experience. To really, I mean, how long did you and I and had to go through, and the suffering we had to go through to get into this understanding and knowing?
yes,
And in the end, is this all we need to know is that energetic alignment, like just raising our vibration to its true state.
Mhm.
The natural state that we have is that high vibration of love, of bliss, of joy, of abundance. That's who we really are. And everything else, the anxiety, the stress, the sickness, the scarcity, all of it, that's not us.
That's not us, no. Even though, we've been programmed and maybe your background has been that, but, if you're just if it keeps coming into your mind that, there's something else, you need to follow that because that is something else. Sometimes they're born into a situation, not because you're meant to stay, but because we're supposed to learn and come out of that and then take it to the next level like we are doing.
Exactly.
So that leads me to the next question. At what point did you decide that you wanted to help other business owners eliminate their overwhelm and multiply their profits with ease and flow?
Well, it was so, as I shared earlier, I've been helping business owners increase their profits. And it's always been my deepest desire to do that with ease and flow. And so now that I've experienced it, it's like there's no way I'm holding back and not sharing any of that, because I know, right, deep in my heart, each and every one of us went even into entrepreneurship is because we want freedom, true freedom. And this is what true freedom is a business that takes hard work and a lot of sacrifices. To me, that's like not freedom. True
Mhm.
freedom feels like flow, and that's why I'm sharing it.
And I would like to reiterate that in this way to our listeners that life is not supposed to be difficult. We make it difficult. Our parents and people in the past have made it difficult because I guess from the background that they came from, from the wartime and then the Great Depression and all of that. And they've had to go through really difficult times and then just saw that life is supposed to be difficult. But really, it's supposed to be easy and fun and um, adventurous. I would like to say it's supposed to be that, but because we have been taught that no, it's supposed to be difficult, we get into that. So I bet our listeners would like to know is there a key? What is the number one key to abundance with ease and flow?
So the number one key is being in your true power. So I mentioned three pillars, right? The
Hmm.
strategies and tactics, the mindset, and the third is being in your true power. And if you're going to choose one of the three, I mean, what I would say is all of them are important. If you are just in the spiritual realm and meditating all day and you want a bigger business, it's not really going to happen without the action, without the tactics. But
Right.
if you are being in that state of flow in your true power and you open up, you, even if you don't know anything about strategies or tactics, you might get that information and and be guided to, like, oh, you need to talk to this person, or why not try this or that, and that's going to lead the way. So I really feel, in my experience as well, and what I teach my clients and their results, is that's the number one thing that will create the bigger profits, the abundance with ease and flow.
So let me ask you this. How do you know? How does it feel? How can you recognize that you're in your true power?
So it's very joyful and blissful. It's very light. It feels very spacious and effervescent. And it feels like you're flowing. And it doesn't matter what is in the present moment, it just feels amazing. And I could say this, like, recently in the middle of the pandemic, we found out, we have a scare, and we found out that my husband has a tumor like this big, like, I'm making a, like a, it's bigger than a golf size ball, like a
Oh,
big
wow.
tumor. And right, like, normally, if a family goes through that, it's like this, oh my god, right? And that, oh my God, is really tragic, very low vibration. But in the state of your true power, in this light, blissful, effervescent state, we are so spacious and we get to play in discovery and love and fun about this tumor. We get to enjoy the experience of, oh, going to the hospital and getting treatment, and wow, there's no traffic because there's COVID, instead of, oh my gosh, it's COVID and we get to deal with this. No, like with us, it's just really enjoying being in that state. And we have been shown so many amazing treatments and resources that I don't think we'd ever see or hear hadn't we been in that state.
I guess even if you're in this state, I mean, that's a good way to differentiate it. But like you were saying, when you discovered your husband's tumor, there must have been a level of shock, a level of, oh my gosh, how did this happen? Or, you know what, maybe not why, but like a shock that this has happened. But I guess the key thing is when you're in your state is that you don't stay in that state for too long, in that lower state, in that in the shock level for too long. You're able to come out quicker. And is that right?
Great pointing out. So it depends, right? So if you're probably beginning this journey and you're hearing it for the first time, or you're, in the middle of it, then yes. I've been practicing it and I've been playing in this state for a while. So to me, when I discovered it, of course, my husband, because it's his body, he was like, whoa, like, what's this? But for me, it was more of being aware, right? I know that, oh, whatever I'm sensing, right? Like when you're saying feelings, oh, I'm sensing a feeling of shock. And
Hmm.
it's not me, I'm sensing it. It's not what I'm feeling. So you kind of, because when your vibration is so high, you see so clearly what's not you. When you're so true to your natural state, what is not you, that shock, that fear feels unnatural, and you just see that it's not part of you. And so I could see that and let it go, because but I never really identified with it. And I think, if I recall it really clearly, I'm just okay, we'll deal with it, like we'll take care of it. It's really, to me personally, there wasn't a shock. There wasn't that point wherein there was a break. So I guess what I'm saying is it is possible to not even go there. If
Wow.
this was years ago, I would have, because like I said, I started early. I've reframing things and choosing, okay, I'm in shock right now, but I'm choosing to think positive. I used to do that a lot and I got good with that. But now I didn't have to go through that anymore. I could just stay in the state and live here and deal with things as they come, just as is, not with any emotions attached to it in terms of those heavy emotions.
Wow, that's really exciting. Yeah, I've been on the spiritual path for the last couple of years. And so I can understand what you're saying, but it's still a little bit hard to believe because I guess I'm not at that level yet. So it's really great to see that that's something you can look forward to because well, that's such a wonderful gift to be at that state that when you hear news like this, you can sense the feeling of shock or something, but really not go there. I mean,
Mhm.
that just saves you so much time and heartache too,
Exactly.
right?
And it takes practice. Like once you're aware, and the more you stay in this higher frequency, the more you're going to be aware of what's not yours.
Yeah.
The more you're gonna know that if there's, even when you're in social media and you're sensing like these different emotions, somebody telling their story, somebody's family died, like, and you're sensing it and you know it's not you, you're just sense the collective is full of broadcast of different energies, and you just know that it's there and it's not yours.
Wow, that is amazing. That is I'm just thinking that what that must feel like. I'm a little bit
It's stable.
speechless.
It feels really stable, right?
Yeah.
So being in a long journey of personal development and spiritual development, it feels like a roller coaster, right? And kind of hard work really to keep on choosing,
Yeah.
to keep on being positive. So it's kind of, and it, yeah, and you're gonna end up really even burn out from personal growth, right? But when you are in this state, it really is stable because this energy is what is. It's source energy, it's love, and it is what everything is made of. And so it's very stable.
So I
And
guess to give our listeners a perspective, for those who may not be at that level, it's a little bit hard to grasp um, that understanding. It's like possibly finding a radio station that has really good quality of sound, no static, and no commercials.
that's a great metaphor. Right? Like you found that that station that you are tuned into, but what if it's not? So how I'm seeing it is different actually, right?
Okay.
Like so it's true that there are stations of frequency. But I feel like it's the quantum field more so, right? Like all the field is actually love, and there's just these different stations, and I'm actually just connected and one with the field.
Mm,
But I like, your example works really well as well, if for others to really understand it. But if you're thinking of the even a world wide web, right? There's a web, and there's so many different things in it. There's really positive sites, and there's really, there's very negative sites, but the whole web is actually just neutral,
yes.
and it's stable, and it encompasses everything, and it's just the space that holds everything, and it's about aligning into that space, so there's no highs and lows, it's just stable. Is that helping with the analogy?
That's yeah, yeah. So now our listeners have three different metaphors to tune into and see what works best for them.
Yeah.
That's really great. So when is your book coming out, and how can people access that?
Thank you for asking. So the book is coming out Feb 23rd. We are already on pre-launch. It's available for pre-orders. We already hit number one international bestseller on both Barnes and Noble and Amazon for a lot of weeks already.
All
So
right.
which is really exciting. So we're in pre-order right now, and during pre-order, it's available for only $1. And with that $1, you get over $2,000 in bonuses to help you go deeper in discovering your true power. And you also get an entry to win $1,000 in other amazing prizes. And on top of all that, all proceeds go to charity. So it's a win win win. We just really want to bring this message of your true power. I mean, I shared a little bit of the possibilities of how amazing things can be. And the book would really share 14 different ways of teaching you and sharing with you what life could be and what your true power is. So we're really excited to share this with the world. We just really wanted to make it easy for people to say yes to stepping in their true power.
No, that is amazing. I am excited about it, looking forward to it. So the book name again is Your True Power. And where can they purchase this?
So they can go, to make it really easy, they can go to www.yourtruepowerbook.com, and over there you'll see, the link straight to Amazon or Barnes and Noble, and they could go back. So once they click that, they go purchase it, come back to the page and register your orders. You get to have all the bonuses, the raffle ticket, and all that good stuff.
That's amazing. That sounds like an amazing deal, guys. $1, and you get over $2,000 in bonuses. That's amazing. Trissa, do you have that one tip that you can give to our listeners?
Hmm, one tip to be in your true power is really to just feel in your heart, go in your heart, and feel that infinite love that you are, and accept that everything, everyone, and you are already the infinite love of the universe. And so just breathe that in. And feeling to that energy, go surrender to that energy, and that is your true power.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on our podcast today. Amazing information. I've learned so much. I'm sure our listeners will also learn a lot. And I wish you all the best with your book. Again, Trissa's book's name is Your True Power, and 14 amazing stories of how people from different backgrounds and different situations have been able to reclaim their power or find their essence and their own true power. That is so beautiful. Thank you again so much, Trissa.
Thank you so much for having me here. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this interview. I hope you've gained some insights and or tips that you can implement right away. For more interviews like this, please visit us at seemagiri.com or visit our YouTube channel, Break Free to Brilliance with Seema Giri. Until next time, have a great day.